What's up guys, we are back. Now in this video we're going to be discussing Nintendo's anti-piracy methods and the recently released SX Pro by Team Xecuter, which is a hacking device which enables full piracy to install ROMs on the Nintendo Switch, and how Nintendo is going to combat this. So right off the bat, I want to say that this video does not condone or approve of piracy in any means, and in fact we're going to be showing how Nintendo is going to be fighting against this going forward, and they have some very powerful means of doing this, and we'll go over that. But first of all, we're going to discuss this brand new official release by Team Xecuter. They've been talking about this for the last few months, that they have a hacking device that is going to be unpatchable for the Nintendo Switch and work on any firmware because it's a physical hack of the system. It is not quite cut and dry just like that. But basically, this is called the SX Pro, and it is a USB-C dongle basically that plugs into the Nintendo Switch, and it comes with this little piece that goes to the side of where the right Joy-Con connects that enables it to go into the bootloader of the system, and thus allows access to the firmware and to install custom firmware, enabling installations of ROMs and basically whatever program hackers can put on the system. And they have actually released this to the public, and they're selling this for a profit. They're selling this for about $60 each that they sell online through distribution from China and Europe. So obviously they are getting by some laws here enabling it to be sold from China and other parts of the world, but they have officially released this as of June 15th. So this basically can enable custom OSs, homebrew, installing your own games on the system, pirating software, anything imaginable that can be run on the Nintendo Switch can be put onto this through this dongle. So this is not to be confused with the others that have done hacking on the Nintendo Switch who are not charging to use it, like the team name Reswitched, who does not condone piracy and does not support it, and is more into doing the homebrew aspect and hacking the system. These guys, Team Xecuter, they're enabling complete piracy of the Nintendo Switch and selling it for a profit. So I highly recommend you do not support this group, and obviously you wouldn't want to get yourself in any kind of legal trouble either, since this is something that you purchase that enables piracy on the Nintendo Switch, and you have to buy this overseas from China or Europe. If you're living in the United States, you're on your own, right? Who knows how legal that is. But interestingly enough, Nintendo has been fighting against this very strongly, and they're working on some extreme anti-piracy measures for the Nintendo Switch and for Nintendo accounts and for cartridges and for digital purchases. All those things are working very hard to prevent these types of hacks and piracy of the system to be done easily on a user level. Even though the actual hack itself is easy, what Nintendo is going to be doing here is something that's going to prevent from being played in the same way that they originally were intended. So we'll go over some of the things that Nintendo is doing to take the ease of this away from hackers. And like I said, this was just posted today on Reddit, but basically there is an application authorization protocol that Nintendo has implemented to enable some extremely strong anti-piracy measures. And I'll leave the link in the description that explains all of it, and we're not going to go into all the detail here that it talks about, but it does have an overview of what Nintendo can do now with your game when you use it on the Nintendo Switch. So it says, number 1, your console verifies that it can connect to the internet. Number 2, your console verifies that it can get a device authorization token to go online. Number 3, your console authorizes the Nintendo account being signed into. Number 4, your console obtains an application authorization token for the specific title being played. And then they go into detail explaining what each of those things means, but basically that is a simple way of putting it on how this application works for Nintendo to prevent piracy or hacked Nintendo Switch games to be played online. And it goes into a lot of detail about all the certificates and codes that Nintendo's using for game cards, for digital games, unique IDs for each one, and very complex one-way encryptions that only Nintendo can reverse, very complicated codes basically that only Nintendo has control over. Just authorizations and tokens and certificates over and over and over again for these games to ensure that once they connect online, Nintendo knows 100% that these games are legit and they're not pirated in any way possible. So it is a very good way to prevent from these games to be used online to ruin someone's experience that you're playing with. And it goes on to explain the practical impact of all of this. It says, these are extremely strong anti-piracy measures. Nintendo did a great job here. In the game card case, Nintendo can detect whether or not the user connecting has data from a Nintendo authorized game card for the correct title. This solves the 3DS era issue of game card header data being shared between games. Additionally, there's a fair amount of other unknown encrypted data in a certificate being uploaded, and certificates are also linked to Nintendo accounts when gold points are redeemed. Sharing of certificates should be fairly detectable for Nintendo. In the digital game case, Nintendo actually perfectly, quote unquote, perfectly prevents online piracy here. Tickets cannot be forged, and Nintendo can verify that the device ID in the ticket matches the device ID for the client cert connecting, banning on a mismatch, as well as that the account ID for the ticket matches the Nintendo account authorizing to log in. Users who pirate games definitionally cannot have well-signed tickets on their consoles, and thus cannot connect online without getting an immediate ban. This is exactly how I would have implemented authorization for digital games if I were them. Then it goes on to say, don't pirate games, it will lead to your console being banned from going online, and every banned early hardware revision switch is an enormous waste. So there you have it. Nintendo is putting in some very heavy protocols to prevent users from going online to use their systems. Obviously, with any pirated software, you're not going to get the benefits of having any kind of Nintendo account access. You're not going to have access to online games. And Nintendo's going to be making their online service in September something that's going to have benefits for gamers. And it's going to unlock, of course, other games to play with the Nintendo Switch. And having this online connection is going to be something that's vital in order for you to enjoy your games completely. And obviously playing online multiplayer games like Fortnite, obviously, which is very popular, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8, ARMS, and the huge game for Nintendo fans, obviously, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. So even though this doesn't completely kill piracy, it does hamper it quite a bit, because even if the game gets checked or connects online even by accident, it does look like Nintendo can ban your console if you are pirating that software. Nintendo will be able to detect that whether you're using cheats on or off. Nintendo will be able to check if the software has been tampered with, and they will ban your console ID, and you will not be able to use your Switch anymore at all going online. So there you have it, guys. Some very detailed information there. Obviously, the hackers are very busy. They're trying to do whatever they can to get piracy to work on the Nintendo Switch, and there is that NVIDIA Tegra X1 design flaw in the chip itself that does enable this to happen. But here we have Nintendo taking measures to fight back and to prevent in any way possible piracy on the Nintendo Switch becomes something that is very widespread, which obviously this doesn't look like it's going to be widespread in my opinion. It looks like it's going to be very isolated, and if anyone purchases that device from China, they run all kinds of risks with using it with their system, obviously. So I highly advise not to use something like that, and definitely don't give these guys money for what they're doing for their services, because actually charging for this device to pirate games breaks all kinds of ethical things, at least from my perspective, if not illegal at this point. So I highly advise you don't do anything with your Nintendo Switch. Don't hack it. Don't hack it to play pirated software. Don't use any hacks on your system trying to go online, because you run the risk of getting your system banned completely, and then you will have to go out and buy a brand new Nintendo Switch separately. And also, from what it looks like, you have to have a brand new Nintendo ID as well. It's simply not worth the risk to do, in my opinion. Everyone is better off just playing the games normally, purchasing them normally, playing your system normally without having all these things happen, without trying to do all these things to the system only to get completely blocked and banned in every aspect, from playing your Switch online and your Nintendo ID being banned as well. Alright guys, let me know what you think of all this in the comment section. It's pretty crazy. I know a lot of information to go over, but thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next video. Have a great day.